Husky fans, welcome into episode number 5 of NIU Weekly. I'm Andy Garcia. Glad you could join us as we get into the month of October, our latest edition of NIU Weekly. Looking forward to it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in this week. Hey, an important note we want to mention about the homecoming coming up on Saturday, October 14th. Okay, that game has been picked up by ESPNU. Okay, and the game has been moved 1/2 hour, 30 minutes back to 3 p.m. Central Time now on October 14th. So kickoff for homecoming versus Ohio, 3 p.m. kick. So the 116th homecoming. Get your tickets if you haven't already, niuhuskies.com/myhuskies. It should be a fun afternoon, NIU in Ohio. But again, the game moved back 30 minutes. Gives you a little bit more time to tailgate, 3 p.m. on Saturday, October 14th. Looking forward to the show this week. Thomas Hammock will be with me. We're going to talk a little bit about the positives that came out of the Toledo game and also getting ready for Akron. Huskies go back on the road to take on the Zips this Saturday. Coach Hammock and I will talk about that. Also going to talk a little volleyball. Head coach Sondra Parys is going to join me. They've won 3 straight MAC matches, been good, 3-1 so far. They go back on the road this week to take on Ohio and Kent State. So Sondra will join me this week on NIU Weekly. Also, our look back with Bill Baker this week. Bill talks about his favorite stadiums and arenas, really an emphasis on basketball, his favorite arenas that Bill Baker's been a part of. So that's our show this week on NIU Weekly. So let's get going. Let's talk football. The Husky football team's getting preparation again, going back on the road this time, taking on the Akron Zips. I'm along head coach Thomas Hammock. And coach, yes, you didn't get the win at Toledo. Fantastic game overall. Just kind of ran out of time, Thomas, but there were some big positives out of the game. What do you see, Thomas, overall after watching the film?
Well, I think it was some things that we did better than we've done the previous few weeks. But we have to clean up the detail in every aspect of our game. I think our defense and special teams showed a couple chinks in the armor. So, all those things we have to clean up in order to win a game like Toledo. But I think that type of game should give us some positive momentum moving forward in the aspect that if we play the way we're capable of playing, good things can happen.
I want to start on the offensive side because you wanted to see improvement on that side of the ball, Thomas, and you did. What stood out for your offense on Saturday?
Well, I just thought they didn't let a negative play affect them. They played the next play. And I thought if we continue to stick together and continue to be able to stack plays with good execution, good things can happen. And then you saw some guys make plays. I think we had a variety of guys with explosive type plays, from the tight ends to the fullback to the wide receivers. We had a couple shots down the field to Trayvon Rudolph, which all those things help open up our offense so we can operate more effectively and efficiently.
What did you see from Rocket Lombardi versus Toledo?
I thought he had a great week of preparation. I thought he really was dialed in. He really was in sync with the game plan. He took it on his shoulders to go out there and perform well. I thought he missed a couple plays early, but then as the game continued to go along, he started to make the plays to put us in position to score points.
You guys were able to run the ball, 186 yards on the ground, including an 80-yarder out of the Wildcat from Ontario Brown. What did you like about what you saw from the run game?
Well, I saw more decisiveness from the running backs. I saw the offensive line straining to finish blocks. I saw the tight ends getting involved. I saw the wide receivers downfield looking to finish blocks downfield, which helps create explosive plays. So definitely some positives in the run game. Toledo has a good defense, a good defensive front. And so for us to have that type of success on the ground, I think can lead to good things in the future.
You mentioned some of the weapons. Jalen Johnson with a fantastic catch, just reaching out, grabbing that ball.
Lombardi's back.
No, it was a big-time play. He had a similar play the week before and didn't quite, get open like he should, but then he made the correction. That's what you want to see from young players, the ability to learn from their mistakes, to correct their mistakes, and go out there and make plays for the team. And I told him this week, I said, that's the hardest you're going to be hit, the way you hit the ground. So go out there and catch balls with confidence and do the things that you're capable of doing, because he could be a big-time weapon for us.
Also, Grayson Barnes and Davis Patterson getting catches, getting in the act more times.
Yeah, I think, we got a lot of guys that we can spread the ball around. And I don't know how many guys caught passes, but it had to be 7 or 8 different guys was able to catch a pass. And I think, if the quarterback is comfortable with those guys and distributes the ball based on coverage, I think that makes us more dynamic on offense.
11 targets, different receivers, Thomas.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Let's move to defense because we saw how good Toledo was. It was those explosive plays, right, Thomas? And we knew going into they can score points, and the defense was have to kind of slow down those explosive plays. We saw them against Toledo, but again, the defense fighting throughout the game to kind of just go against that offense.
No, I think I thought they stepped up in critical moments to make plays. I mean, Toledo has an explosive offense. The quarterback is very dynamic. The running backs are dynamic. The receivers are dynamic, and we got pushed around a little bit early, but then in the fourth quarter, they went out there and made tremendous plays to give our offense a chance to try to win the game. And I think that's what we have to take a positive for. And then last week they talked about scoring on defense before the game, and that's what they did. So sometimes what you say can come to fruition if you have the right type of mentality and the right type of mindset.
I want to talk about that play, Thomas, because you were down 21-10 in the second half. You get the fumble. Marion Knighton with a nice hit by going low on that running back, Thomas, and then you get the pickup from Nate Valcarcel going 50 yards to take it in the end zone. A huge play, momentum shifter, and sometimes the defense has got to get some scoring, right? I mean, we want to see them get turnovers. Now we get the turnover, but Valcarcel getting the touchdown.
No, that was a big play in the game. Changed a lot of momentum. I mean, you sort of saw guys on the sideline was like, okay, this is what we needed. This is what we needed
Yeah.
in order to have a chance to win this game. And Amarion is the lightest guy on defense in terms of weight, but the biggest guy in terms of heart. And he put his face on the ball and gave us an opportunity to create a turnover and to score. So that was good to see from our defense. I think they'll be hungry to keep attacking that football to see if they can continue to make plays.
And they did get some stops at the end, Thomas, that were big, getting the ball back to the offense and again, just running out of time. But I didn't think the defense backed down, Thomas. That offense for Toledo kept coming and coming. But NIU's defense, your defense, it made some stops when they needed to keep it tight.
Yeah, I mean, Toledo has a very diverse package
Yeah.
offensively. And then they try to create space, for the quarterback run game, as well as the running backs, as well as throwing the ball in space to their receivers. So they put you in conflict from a variety of areas. But I did think, we got challenged. We had some adversity. I did think in the fourth quarter, our defense stepped up. I think they had 3 straight 3-and-out stops, which gave us an opportunity to at least have the ball with a chance to win at the end of the game.
I want to talk about special teams in Cannon Woodham. A 49-yarder came in, needed to get that kick, got it from 49 yards out. And good to see Whittle get an opportunity and take advantage of it, Tom.
No, I mean, obviously we've struggled as a field goal unit. So we need to make a change to give us an opportunity and for him to go out there and make those kicks. We had confidence in him. In 2021, he helped us beat Central Michigan as a true freshman. So we have a lot of confidence in Cannon. And for him to go out there and make those kicks, the 49-yarder was the same exact spot I saw him make it in pregame. So I was very confident when we got down there that he would go out there and do his job, and he did it. And that's quite a lot of momentum for him moving forward for the rest of the season.
Talk about the Zips. Akron comes in 1-4 overall, 0-1 in the MAC. They lost in overtime to Buffalo last week, 13-10. As you prepared for the Zips so far this week, Coach, what have you seen?
No, I mean, I think it's a good team. Every game they played, they've been in. Even, they played Indiana in triple overtime. Good, really, really strong on defense. Got a tremendous defense, guys that fly around, make plays, make it hard for the offense. And then offensively, it'd be a lot similar to what we saw last week with Toledo. They want to get the quarterback run game involved. They want to get speed and space. They want to do some things to put you at a disadvantage from a defensive perspective. So we have our hands full this week with Akron. I don't look at the record. I look at the play. And this is a good football team that we have to make sure we play our best to give us an opportunity to win on Saturday.
Looking forward to it. It's the Huskies and the Zips coming up on Saturday as the Huskies get prepared. Try to get that win in MAC play. Thomas, appreciate the time and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you. Go Huskies.
Well, from Husky football, the Husky volleyball team is on a 3-match winning streak, and Sondra Parys joins us now. And Coach, congratulations. 3 tough matches too, winning at Bowling Green on Friday, September 22nd back. That's not easy to win there, Coach. And then you come home and you beat Miami in 5 sets on Friday and then 3 sets this past Saturday. You guys are playing well. What are the biggest positives you've seen in this winning streak?
Yeah, there's been a lot for sure. Thank you. And I think the biggest positive that we can take away from, not just a winning streak, but each match being a little bit different is we're learning how to execute under pressure. It's one thing to sweep and kind of be up, 25-16, 25-18, you kind of feel that momentum when things are going your way all the time. It's a lot easier to win, but a 5-set match on the road and being down 10-7 in the 5th, which we were against Miami, and still finding a way to win. Yeah. I think that's been the biggest positive is, we're believing that we can do it even when we're not ahead in matches. And that's been really, really beneficial for the program.
I want to go back to January. Talk about the chemistry, starting up, forming a team when you get here in January to where you guys are now and how that chemistry's been built.
Yeah, this January and the spring was really important for us to, connect and build relationships with the returners, get them, kind of bought into, my vision, the culture that we're trying to build, instill some leadership early and a foundation with the returners. So that way, when we brought in the 7 new faces, there was already a goal and a vision in mind, so it definitely took time, even this fall with 7 new faces. Yeah. But I think having that foundation already set with the returners really kind of helped, just get the program moving a little quicker this fall with so many new systems and people and styles just kind of all coming together. It's it's natural that it took pretty much all of non-conference to get it feeling, just feeling good again. Yeah. So, yeah.
So some of the returners, we'll start with Nick Nedich, a junior who we've really seen mature going into her junior year, leading you guys in kills. What have you liked from Nick?
Yeah, I like to think of Nick as a bounce back player in a lot of ways. The outside position is tough. You take a lot of swings. Often teams are targeting you on serve receive. You have a lot of roles that you have to play, and it can be hard to be on all the time there. So I think she's done a really good job of balancing the load, and also if something's not maybe going well, like how can I be better the next night, the next play? We've been able to connect and build a good player coach relationship where I feel like I can get something more out of her the next player next day. And I think that's why she's had long-term success, because it's not maintaining or she's finding a way to maintain her play.
Also, Charlie Atiemo in the middle, again, another returner, again, that steady presence in the middle for you guys.
Yeah, no, Charlie does a lot of really good things for us. She's definitely in a different role a little bit with, the 6'2", and, really developing her in front of the setter is something that is new for her. And she's done a really good job on, running plays in front and finding ways to score, and did an awesome job there this weekend of, just being terminal when we need it. The blocking has also developed for her, and, so whether it's, I think 7 blocks this weekend. So, in that position to have a middle that can not just score for you, but be a good line of defense from the block is something that's been really valuable for us.
Also great to see Emily Dykes come back from being injured early, coming back alternate team in the DePaul Invitational, and had another nice past weekend as well.
Yeah, no, she's probably one of our highest, most physical athletes, and especially in that position when you're touching that high and you have a really good arm. It's nice to be able to set up plays to get her the ball one-on-one, and she did a really good job being terminal. I think she hit 500, which is very, very difficult to do. And our offense in the 6'2" definitely helps her get the ball a little bit more there.
Tell me about Ella Mahasevich and what you like about her and what she means to this team.
Yeah, I mean, she's a winner. She likes to compete, and she knows it. And I think just having that presence out there is awesome. And she's also stepped into a different role as well in the 6-2, and she gives it her all when she's out there, and she is really developing her decision making, her defense, and just that steady presence of what you're going to get from her every single day. I think is super important in a setter role.
Mm-hmm. Some of the newcomers, Katie Erdman, transfer from Florida Tech, led the team in kills with 11 this past Saturday. She seems like she's kind of fit right into this offense.
Yeah, she really developed her shot selection early. That's something that we worked on with her is, how what worked for you at your last institution might be a little bit different here. So how can we take your strengths and find a way to score at this level? And she really bought into that early and is finding unique ways to score. And just it doesn't look, it's not one shot all the time, and that's really hard to defend. So I think that's why you're seeing so many kills come from her, is because of the variety of shots that she's bringing to the table.
Defensively, Crew Hoffmeyer already has won a MAC West Defensive Player of the Week award already. Continues to play at a high level. What has Crew brought to the roster?
Yeah, just consistent energy and passion for the game. You can see in how she celebrates, not just when she gets a dig, but for her teammates. She's all out all the time, and that position is super important to be that way. So I think she's averaging close to 5 digs a set. She's pushing that top spot right now in conference, and she reads well. She sees the game at a high level, and I think is really helping us in big moments keep the ball alive.
Gotta be nice to have so many offensive weapons, Coach. And another one, Isabel Pakoko, another newcomer to this roster. Again, brings power and able to be terminal.
Yeah, no, I mean, exactly. And it's the same thing with just that type of offense is if you can have all 6 hitters be efficient for you, you're in a better position to win. And I think, Coco's doing a good job. Again, varying her shot selection, whether she's one-on-one, she's putting the ball away, or, she's kind of been able to throw in different shots, out of system. And we're continuing to develop her game there. And I thought she's done a really good job blocking for us. That's definitely been one of her strengths and why we continue to stay in the 6-2 offense as well.
You go back on the road at Ohio on Thursday and at Kent State on Friday. But what can we expect from these matches on the road this week?
Yeah, I think Ohio's playing good ball right now. They're competitive. They got good size. They serve tough. They're I think they're a team that usually gets a good home crowd, traditionally known for volleyball. So, we're excited. I'm excited to go there. I think the team's excited to go there to have them on a Thursday. And, we know we're going to see, just good high level volleyball coming back at us. So we gotta be ready to go and, know that we gotta fight hard, to get a win there. And same thing with Kent. You can't take anybody lightly. We're really trying to focus one match at a time right now. So we're going to get through Ohio, and then once we do that, we'll kind of hit it. We're thinking a little bit more about what Kent is going to do.
You mentioned it, Coach. You're kind of getting into the middle of the MAC schedule. What's some keys for your team? Maybe not the opponents, Sondra, but the keys for your team to stay focused when you go back in the league.
Yeah. We say October is a tough month for a lot of teams, where you're kind of hitting that stretch. You got to maintain health. You got to, take care of yourself on and off the court. You got to maintain that. And as far as some things we are doing well on the court, our serve and pass game dictates a lot of success for us. We're serving tough. We're getting teams in trouble, and that really allows us to transition out a little bit faster. And, that's the game right there. We're really seeing success in the serve and pass side, and we're going to continue to focus on that and, learn how to really push teams to have to play off the net and make them a little bit more uncomfortable. So that's helping us be successful, and we're pretty sure it's going to be a pretty big focus for the rest of the year as well.
So I talk a lot about in the show about on this YouTube page. We don't just have highlights. We got NIU Weekly, but there's also a segment that was put up from NIU Volleyball called Mic'd Up. You were mic'd up what practice last week, and it showed a little bit of your personality and some English words that I didn't know about as well, Sondra, but it just kind of showed your personality, and you can see why you guys have had some success. And again, it starts from the top of you and your coaches, coaching, but also being a personality, showing this team, hey, you can count on us, you can trust us, but also we're going to show you some new words and vocabulary.
Yeah, and we're just gonna have fun with them.
Yeah.
I think it's, it gets hard. It gets hard too when you get pushed, and I think there's a good balance that I try to have with, how can I push you to be your best, and also just have a good time doing it. I do think that balance is important, and yeah, I think also showing them who I am as a person and is super important. I want to be able to instill, them being able to be comfortable being themselves. And the only way they can do that is if I am my true, authentic self. And if that means being silly and calling an easy serve a fluffer, I can blame my fiance for that word. I don't know where that came from, but it is, my intention is always to help them be the best that they can be, and to hopefully provide a good experience for all 16 of my athletes.
You haven't seen that mic'd up feature. It's right here on NIU YouTube page. You just scroll down from NIU Weekly, you'll see it, and it's a fun little piece about Sondra Parys. And congratulations so far. Let's keep this winning streak going around the road.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Great to get Coach Parys on again. The Husky volleyball team, they've won 3 in a row. Try to get it going and continue moving forward on the road this week. Time now for our segment, Looking Back with Bill Baker. As you know, Bill Baker's traveled across this country, seen games all over the place, 44 years. So he's got some favorite stadiums, arenas, and that's what Bill and I talk about this week, his favorite stadiums, arenas, especially in basketball. We continue our series talking to the voice of the Huskies, Bill Baker, retiring after 44 years, but the stories we could tell, the stories Bill Baker can tell. You can hear a little bit more now from Bill. Again, Bill, I've been able to follow you and travel with you with some stadiums and arenas and basketball and football. You've seen more than a lot of other people. What have been some of your favorite stadiums in the MAC or maybe somewhere else, both in football and basketball?
We have a unique way on my crew of judging stadiums and arenas, and it's directly tied into what kind of food they feed the media.
Well, it's true. It's true.
Some are going to give you, a hot dog left over from volleyball the night before, and others are going to have really nice spreads out there. But that's really only one of the things. We've been to a lot of different places. But I'll tell you, as long as you ask the question, the one venue that I was most impressed with is a basketball venue, and just the venue itself, the history behind it, and what they do on game day, game night. And that is, you want to take a guess? It's been recent basketball. Want to take a guess?
I mean, I go Gonzaga just to take a guess.
Gonzaga was nice, but Gonzaga was kind of sterile. Just a nice big arena. Mm-hmm. Indiana, the Assembly Hall.
Okay.
And everything they do prior to the game with, the cheers and the dance team and whatever they call the pom-pom squad, the presentation of the colors, the honored faculty, somebody live singing the national anthem.
Right.
That impressed me. I mean, that really impressed me. And you can go on. There are a lot of nice places in the Mid-American Conference to work. I mean, all right, I'll say it. Toledo's got a nice facility. I mean, that's good. I mean, I like Buffalo's facility. Miami has had the same facility as what they had back when I first started the game at the Millet Hole. But I kind of like that. Ohio University. The joke used to be at Ohio, they've got this, what was it, 16,000 seat convocation center, and there weren't that many people in the county when they built the thing. At least that's what they tell me. But no, we've been everywhere. We get to play in NBA arenas from time to time. We're up in Milwaukee to do that. So yeah, it's interesting. There's no question that that's been a big part of it. The same thing with football. A lot of different stadiums. The Orange Bowl that we get to play in. We actually played in both the old and the new Orange Bowl. We played Miami in a regular season game of the old Orange Bowl back in, I think it was the 90s. And I remember getting there, and I asked the guy, "Where's the media elevator?" He says, "Well, it's right through there." He says, "But you want to go around and come in from the other side." And I said, "Why can't we go right through here? I mean, you can see it." He says, "Rats." And evidently they grow them big in Florida. So,
well,
and I think the Gators like the rats. So we just didn't do that. We went ahead and worked our way around. But so many different places. So many different setups. Sometimes you're high, sometimes you're low. I mean, it's all part of the adventure.
Well, Bill, you also, and maybe not everyone knows this, but you engineer your own games, not just in basketball and football. And I've been a part of some of those games. We've had to use some wiring of those booths to find ways to put the equipment down, to put the wires around the window and all that. I mean, you were a technician just trying to figure out how you wanted to set up the games, Bill.
Do you remember the cables to the wireless mic shorting out in Detroit?
Yes.
And
Correct.
I said to you, you have a toothpick? Remember that? So we could separate them so they wouldn't short out. You had a toothpick. Don't ask me how you had a toothpick, but you had one.
And we played in fans of 90,000 in some places. And you've also played in stadiums of sometimes you can hear me from the sidelines back in the booth, Bill. It's kind of been a little bit of both, too. It's been some huge stadiums, though. The atmosphere in some of those stadiums like Lincoln, Nebraska, and some others, it's just been fantastic.
There's some tremendous venues, tremendous fans. Lincoln, frankly, and we go there again this season. They're on the schedule this season. Some of the most rabid fans you're going to find, quite honestly. When you have game day in Lincoln, Nebraska, the stadium becomes the second largest city in the state of Nebraska, surpassing the rest of Lincoln. I mean, if you want to look at it that way.
Yeah. Before we close out this one, I talk about a little basketball because not only voice of the Huskies and football, but also your basketball days and going around then. What do you remember, and what are some thoughts about some of the games, or just your thoughts about being around basketball for NIU?
Well, NIU has been to 3 NCAA tournaments.
Yeah.
The early '80s with Alan Rayhorn and Ron Lindfors and those guys won the tournament, which was held at the University of Michigan. Got back to the hotel, and Pat Carey was working with me at that time, and Lindfors grabs the two of us at the same time and throws us in the pool. Gave us a moment to take our wallets out of our pockets. I give him credit for that. You flash forward 90-91, Jim Molinari has come over, Stacey Arrington and Brian Banks, Randy Fenns was there, Andrew Wells, Donald Whiteside. Can't forget Donald Whiteside. And they lost to Green Bay in the Mid-Continent Conference Championship game up in Green Bay, but we got an at-large bid and went to Dayton and played St. John's, and that was a very memorable year. Then the last one would have been Brian Hamill with a very nobody saw this coming in the Midwestern Collegiate Conference. All of a sudden, we get hot towards the end of the season, win the tournament, which was down at Wright State in Dayton, had a squeeze past Wisconsin-Milwaukee, won that one by 2 on a Friday night, went up against UIC, beat them by 30, I think it was on Saturday, and then we come back Monday against Detroit and led from pretty much start to finish, win the Midwestern Collegiate Championship, and that took us to Richmond, Virginia, and we played Texas Tech and just barely lost that one 74-73. A lot of great individual games, a lot of terrific players. I mean, most recently, Eugene German became the all-time leading point getter at NIU Husky men's basketball history. Fortunate enough to make the call on that particular play. So many memories, Andy. Can't begin to count them.
Yeah, some really good stuff, not just through football, basketball. You did other sports as well, like soccer. I mean, you did it all. 44 years, Bill Baker behind the mic here at NIU. More features, more series to come throughout the football season as we look back and talk to the voice of the Huskies, Bill Baker. I hope you've enjoyed that segment so far with Bill Baker, looking back and hearing some of his favorite stadiums and arenas throughout the 44 years going on the road as we get ready to close out NIU Weekly. Some of the things happening, again, a lot of our teams are on the road this week. Thursday, October 5th, volleyball at Ohio. Women's soccer is at Eastern Michigan. Volleyball again at Kent State on Friday night. Women's tennis is up at the UW Whitewater Invitational. Saturday, we got football on the road. Football taking on Akron. And then women's tennis still on the road as well. Men's soccer at Drake on Saturday night as well. Sunday, women's soccer host Miami. 1 p.m. home game on Sunday for women's soccer. And then on Monday, men's golf is at the Purdue Invitational in West Lafayette, Indiana. So we got some good events happening. A lot on the road. Women's soccer at home this week. So hope you can get out there to the NIU Soccer and Track and Field Complex for that game as well. Closing out, Husky basketball season not too far away. Men's, women's basketball. It's going to be here before you know it now. We've reached October. Next month, basketball is here. Get your season tickets. Receive some preseason polls and predictions coming out. NIU men's basketball looking good in some of those polls. It's a good sign before we start the season. So you got to get your tickets. Get reserved seats to see every Husky men's basketball game for as little as $80. Discounts on great tickets are available for NIU faculty and staff, alumni, and senior citizens. Season ticket prices to see every game of the NIU women's basketball season range from $35 to $50. Great prices. Go online, NIUHuskies.com, my Huskies, to purchase your NIU basketball season ticket memberships today. Get on them. Some great matchups at the Convocation Center. We hope to see you there with season tickets for NIU men's and women's basketball. We'll talk NIU Husky basketball soon on NIU Weekly. Stay tuned for that. But that wraps up episode 5 for NIU Weekly. We appreciate Thomas Hammock and Sondra Parys joining me this week. We look forward to talking to Coach Hammock next week after a win at Akron. Until then, hope you have a great week. Hopefully get some Husky wins. Go Huskies.